Schools are ready to take a holiday break, but one of the new school leaders is gearing up for change.
In order to have a better understanding of what's working, what's not, and what we can do differently in our county, we got to listen and learn.
Clay County asked for change this election cycle, naming Addison Davis as their new superintendent. He'll explain his Elevate Clay transition plan. Plus, we've introduced you to many of the new faces elected to the House. We'll dive into the plans for last man standing among the Duval delegation and the man just named their new chairman on This Week in Jacksonville. Thanks for joining us this morning. The work begins even before the new year. November elections ushered in a sweeping change to Northeast Florida's elected officials. You're going to hear from Senator Audrey Gibson in a few moments, one of the area's quartet in the upper chamber returning to Tallahassee. In the House, seems like everyone is new except Jay Fant. The state representative is joining us this morning, a representative from Jacksonville's west side, newly named the chair of the Duval delegation. So thanks for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Ken.
Maybe explain, I guess I should say congratulations, or is it congratulations? Because it sounds like that's probably a lot of work to be the chair of the delegation. What does that mean?
It is additional work. We put on a new hat when we're delegation chair. We certainly go to Tallahassee with our political agendas from our districts. But when it comes time to the delegation, we have to pull together and understand Jacksonville as a whole. So I will be putting on that chairman hat this upcoming session and canvassing the community for what's important this coming year and working as a team to get our work done.
You know, I know that probably means at the outset, because I heard some organizational meetings and some first-time events here just in the last month where a lot of the stakeholders in the area are coming together to say, hey, by the way, I want you to know this about our organization or our agency, and these are the priorities. Please consider them when you go to Tallahassee for the legislative session, right?
That's right. Last year, Kent, you may recall the big issue around Jacksonville was our pension.
Yeah.
And you've covered that quite a bit. What a lot of people don't realize is that it is actually a state function to allow the city to ask itself to tax itself. Mayor Curry did an outstanding job, and his team really, with the pension stakeholders, to make that issue understandable to the citizens of Jacksonville. And they did come to Tallahassee and ask us to participate in granting that permission for that referendum. And that was a big mission that Representative Mia Jones, as last year's chair, accomplished. And this year there's a new list of things and wants and needs too, so we'll be addressing those.
Yeah, and that's part of what we wanted to get to. What are some of the things, or maybe the thing that rises to the top in terms of taking Northeast Florida needs over to Tallahassee and say the state needs to participate in what we need in Jacksonville?
There are lots of needs. We will spend this month and January listening. There is clearly a particular need that appears to be above and beyond the rest. The city has shown an interest in reconstructing the ramp on the Hart Street Expressway. If you go to the stadium, you know there's an elevated ramp. Over time, the mayor believes and the city believes that that could be a safety issue. And in the past, there have been some safety issues there. There's also the notion that a ramp doesn't belong there when we're trying to develop that area as a whole. So these things cost money, and the state does have transportation dollars. So the city has expressed an interest to the delegation to champion that this coming year. And I think it's a good idea, and I think the delegation does too.
The cynic out there would say, wait a second, get rid of that ramp. That's just because they want to develop down there, or the owner of the Jaguars wants to develop that land or whatever. Anything like that going on behind the scenes? Is there an ulterior motive for trying to get that accomplished?
Certainly, if there's a byproduct of economic development downtown toward the stadium, I think it behooves all of the city. But I will tell you, anyone who's been driving I-95 near this studio over time realizes that if you don't get ahead of these infrastructure projects, we pay dearly with later construction. And I think this is actually a very forward-looking idea, and we're going to push hard for that.
Rather than waiting for it to become a much more sizable problem, a tangible problem, looking ahead is, I think, what you're saying about that.
That's right.
So one of the things that I wanted to ask you about, you got into politics, you said, because you were concerned from your experience as a small business owner or operator that the federal government had maybe too much say in how things got accomplished, or too much sway in what could live or die with a small business. What do you want to see accomplished here as you go into your second term in the House in Florida? And what do you think the impact will be on small businesses with the new administration coming to Washington, D.C.?
You're hitting the nail right on the head. I'm new to politics. I've been elected for 2 years. But I ran under the belief that the federal government just isn't capable of running a country this size. And I saw that when I was in the community banking industry, an industry that was decimated by the big bank bailouts, all the unintentional consequences of government action. And I told myself, I sure would like to be helpful in preventing things like that happening to other small businesses and individuals. So that's where I come from, and that's really what I consider my main role in politics is defending individuals and families and small businesses against the federal government excesses, and to a certain extent the excesses of the state government.
Yeah, it's interesting. I heard you say defending, and we talked about you've got a background as a lawyer as well. That could be a role that a lawyer plays, but we appreciate it. We know you're a lawmaker leading the delegation, and State Representative Jay Fant, thanks for your time this morning.
Thanks for having me, Kent.
Well, you were also going to hear from a Jacksonville state senator this morning as well. First, though, the new superintendent of the schools in Clay County. Addison Davis joins us next on This Week in Jacksonville.
This holiday, Cirque du Soleil invites you to immerse yourself in the world teeming with joy and amazement. OVO. Playing August 2nd to 6th at Jacksonville Veterans Memorial Arena. Find the perfect gift at cirquedusoleil.com.
The most magical time of the year is also the perfect time to take home a new Honda, KBB.com's best value brand. Hurry in to the Happy Honda Days sales event and discover the Civic, Fit, and HR-V right now at your Honda dealer.
This is my everyday. Up early, rush to get ready, wake her up for school, catch the bus to put in a full day here, get home in time for dinner and her homework, then off to bed so I can do it again tomorrow. Choosing my Am Better health plan helps me focus on my health, see my doctor, get my flu shot, and earn rewards. I'm making better choices to be a better me. Better is an even better me.
If you missed it, the I-Team exposed the #1 counterfeit item on your holiday wish list. Plus, unusual fakes customs agents uncovered. Watch Black Market Jacks again on news4jax.com.
This baby isn't crying because she's hungry. This baby is crying because she's suffering. How a government crackdown triggered a local health crisis.
I cried all the time, just staring at him, knowing there was nothing I could do to fix it.
The I-Team investigates innocent victims. Monday on the 10 o'clock news. You're watching This Week in Jacksonville with Kent Justice.
And as the end of the calendar year approaches, we're at the very beginning of a new administration. And yes, that's happening on the federal level. But this morning, we're going to focus on the local level. Joining us is Addison Davis, the new superintendent of schools in Clay County. Congratulations, one on November 8th, but then installed just a few weeks later. So the work is already underway here. And we've reported even recently that you're out on kind of a listen and learn tour. So what are you hearing and what are you learning?
Yeah, the biggest thing, really inspired to take on this incredible role of being the next leader of the in Clay County Public School System. One thing we have to do is really get out to the community and create these listen and learning tours so I can really figure out what's working, what's not, and what we can do differently. And, you know, I hope, which starts on Tuesday, December 13th, really hope to really give a voice to our community in order to better assist this community in increasing the educational setting and improving teaching and learning.
It's a push and a pull, it seems like, when any new leader gets installed or gets to take over, because you've come into this, and in this case a campaign, you've come into this saying, here are some things I want to improve or change, but you're also trying to say, okay, community, stakeholders, tell me what we need to learn and improve on, right?
Yes, sir. This is about, in order to elevate Clay, we have to create a 360 accountability. Not only can we do it from a district level, from a administrative level, but we have to engage teachers, communities, faith-based partners, business organizations in order to conduct a SWOT analysis to figure out what the strengths, weaknesses, areas of opportunity, and also our threats within our organization. So just an opportunity for stakeholders to become advocates in education and support our best efforts.
Well, you said the day's magic word or something like that. Elevate Clay.
Yes.
you've said that this is kind of a transition plan, so I want to talk about that a little bit. I read a recent release from your office that there are 6 goals to elevate Clay, and we want to show them to you on the screen right here. They're to enhance the relationship between the board and the superintendent, to improve instructional framework, and talk about the processes and structures, and I'm going to have you talk us through this in a moment, sir. To establish a positive climate, a positive culture. And then the 4th thing of these 6 was to create performance a magnet system. I want to hear more about that. To strengthen the community, public, and teacher relationships. So again, I think that's saying trying to get everybody to work together. And then number 6 out of 6 was effective management to maximize resources, promote safe, efficient, effective learning. So tell me, as you talk about Elevate Clay, why those 6 things will make a difference.
Yeah, so going into a new organization, you really got to have a plan and a vision. You know, you're excited about the opportunity, but once you become and you are elected official, the question is, what are you going to do next? Yep. And Elevate Clay acts as a blueprint that facilitates my leadership and collaboration to engage the greater community. And it also allows me to really identify what's working and what's not and what we can do differently. So these 6 goals are really going to be the foundation of our learnings. And the first one we start with is establishing a positive relationship between the board and the superintendent. And I will say that in the past there's been somewhat of a fragmented relationship, but right now in the last 3.5 weeks it's been great. The school board has been very supportive of my leadership. They've been very supportive of the direction that I want to go as I share my vision. And they truly are enjoying the fact that we're engaged in every stakeholder. So
I want to just point out that your experience previously was in the Duval County schools system and as an administrator, and you said 15 years? Is that about
18
right?
years.
18 years. Yes, but I've also heard that you can't compare them apples to apples when you're talking about a large urban district and one in the suburbs or in Clay County in this case. So don't you have to approach it differently than you did in Duval County?
Yes, sir. It's definitely different, the magnitude and the size of the organizations, but I will say the work is still the same. You know, Duval County has a lot of positive aspects of it. It's got a great leader in Dr. Vitti as a superintendent, and there's a lot of great takeaways that I've identified and has grown through my leadership that we can potentially involve in Clay County. So many areas that we've got to do, though, in Clay County, and the first one is give teachers a voice and really let them sit at the round table to make decisions based on curriculum, based on finances, based on next steps for direction, and really figure out how we can not only support our students intellectually and academically, but what can we do for them emotionally, socially, in order to develop the whole child.
You know, one of the things I wanted to point out is that improving morale seemed to be something that was important, even talked about during the campaign. But I want to show you what School Board Chairwoman Janice Karakis said. I don't expect positive results immediately. The most positive thing I think we can see in the near future would be the morale improving. That's probably the most important thing right now. Why has morale been poor, and how do you change it?
I think that we have disenfranchised our support groups, our teachers, and all of our staff. I don't believe they've had a chance to sit at the table and talk about you know, what the needs are, doing needs assessments of the county. And I think by me going in and doing the Listen and Learn tour and holding events such as Dialogue with Davis with staff, that allows them to really be transparent and tell me what divisions need to be looked into, what curriculum needs to be looked into, what do we need to do in order to better help them from a professional learning standpoint, and how can we help them enhance their craft and to improve the teaching and learning within our county.
I bet a lot of people are going to say, I'm really impressed because the chief educator in my district says he wants to be educated by me on what's really important. We appreciate the time. Best success to you as you get started here, leading the Clay County school system.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, the leading Democrat from our area, leading in a new way in Duval County. We'll speak with Senator Audrey Gibson next on This Week in Jacksonville.
This is Pastor R.J. Washington of the Titus Harvest Dome. Join us on Channel 4 every Sunday morning at 9:30 a.m. We're going to have a God time. Yes.
Turn pizza night into family dinner night with Papa Murphy's new $5 Faves value menu. For just $5 each, add a fresh garden salad, scratch-made 5-cheese bread, a $5 Faves pizza, or chocolate chip cookie dough. Just $5. It's a real value.
2 more bites.
And real leverage. Finish your dinner with Papa Murphy's new $5 Faves value menu. Order online at papamurphys.com. Love at $5 each.
It's what everyone's after. The new 2017 Nissan Rogue. With intelligent forward emergency braking, that could stomp your car for you. Get to Nissan's Go Rogue year-end event for year-end savings on Rogue and the rest of the Nissan lineup. Take on any Galaxy. Rogue One, a Star Wars story. In theaters December 16th. Get 0% financing for up to 72 months on 11 models. Or save up to $10,000 on select models.
After any accident, whether it's a motor vehicle accident or an accident that happened on the water or anywhere, and insurance companies get involved, it can be overwhelming. You don't need to wait until you're frustrated or angry to call a personal injury lawyer. We are here to help, to give guidance, to take that burden from people. That's our job.
Call us or visit our website. Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
It's the season for sugar and spice. Measuring, mixing, melting, stirring things up. It's a sip, a taste, a nibble. It's the perfect time to let us do the cooking. Find the perfect platters for your event in our Gather and Share brochure. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Florida Black Expo provides an opportunity for local businesses to showcase their products or services. Channel 4 is a proud sponsor. Come to the Convention Center on December 17th for entertainment, a drumline competition, health fair, and more. Get tickets at blackexposouth.com.
Thanks for staying with us on this Sunday morning. New leadership coming to the federal government. Well, new leadership underway in the local Democratic Party as well. State Senator Audrey Gibson joins us to discuss that and other happenings in state politics and here in Jacksonville. So thanks for joining us. And congratulations. So this recent election, it surprised me. I understand that you are actually elected chair for the Duval Democrats, the first African-American to hold that position. Is that true?
That's what I understand, and thank you so much for having me this morning. It sounds almost unbelievable, but it is true.
It really does.
Yes.
So, not something to be taken lightly, but I'm sure that this is a bit of a transition for you as well. There are a lot of folks who are not as engaged in the local party as maybe have been in the past. It seems like there's an influx of new young people who are getting activated, if you will, in the Democratic Party in Duval County.
And that is a fact, and I think Bernie's campaign was a major factor in motivating those millennials that we've been trying to capture, and that's really, it's good for our local party, but as I talked to everyone before the election and after, is that our goal is to unify everybody. We can't have Bernie people and Hillary people. We're the Duval Democrats, and we're just Democrats.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about you as a Democrat in the Senate for Florida. This is a position where there are a lot of new faces there as well. You just heard us a few moments ago talking about the House. Lots of new representatives, lots of new senators as well, right?
Yes, half of the Senate is new. There are 20 new senators of 40, and although some did come from the House, we do things a little bit differently in the Senate, and so it'll be a different kind of experience. I hope it will be refreshing for those House members that came over.
Senator, what are the particular areas of influence that you have when we talk about Senate? You're on certain committees, you lead some of the efforts there. Tell me what's going to happen here in 2017 for you.
Well, I think the biggest thing for us here in Duval is the chairmanship for the military and veterans affairs, space and domestic security, which I'm really thankful to the president for giving me that leadership role. I was vice chair of that committee probably for the last 4 or 5 years. And so for us, with a very large military and veteran population, I look forward to bringing forward issues. One of the things I really want to delve into first, and even though it may be federal, it has to do with how long our veterans are waiting for care, and how, if there's anything that my committee can do or we can do as a state to certainly expedite those things. And we have some other opportunities with the F-35 we're in the running for.
Yeah,
which
we had just heard about that. Senator Nelson even this week was saying, hey, I've proposed that the F-35 comes to the Florida Air National Guard wing and specific to the couple of places in Florida, right?
The 125th fighter wing right here in Jacksonville near our airport. I did raise some concerns about it earlier in the year because of still some kinks they have to work out in terms of making sure it's extremely safe. Obviously, we want the best technology to protect our troops who are protecting us. But I want to make sure it's safe for them too. And so I'm excited to be a part of the team to work towards getting that F-35 here.
You know, the mandate when you go to legislative session every time, of course, is we've got to have a budget. What do you think the other things that will come out of legislative session this coming spring will be?
It's going to be an interesting session to watch because while I know that the Senate President and the Speaker have a relationship of, some kind, the Speaker is off in a totally different direction when it comes to our projects, to bring monies that people have sent up to bring that back. That's going to be a little different. They don't even have their committee assignments yet. On the Senate side, the President has shown how bipartisan he wants things to run. And I said, particularly as it relates to policy, because I think there are like 4 Democrat chairs and some Democrat vice chairs, but there are some places where definitely the Republican control shows, and that's in those budget subcommittees.
Yeah, budget subcommittees. Very last thing, we got about 30 seconds here, but I just wanted you to be recognized. Your mom was honored with the name on the building at FSCJ, right?
Thank you very much. Yes, at the Building A, my mom wrote the grant actually that built the nursing building on that campus, and she started when they were just huts on Roosevelt, and so today they named the building for her, and they're going to take a plaque, and I'm happy for my dad. I'm really happy.
It's a great honor, and
thank you.
I'm sure you're happy about it. Senator, thank you so much for the time. Great to see you again.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, is Attorney General Pam Bondi headed to President-elect Donald Trump's team? Why some are saying yes, others say nope, it's not going to happen. That's next on This Week in Jacksonville.
Don't miss our year-end RV blowout sale going on now at Dick Gore's RV World.
The perfect time to take advantage of these new and used massive RV savings.
Make sure you shop with us for the biggest RV savings of the year.
Airport exit off of I-95.
From the First Coast Jacksonville to the First City St. Augustine. Too large for just one screen or one dealership.
It's Field's season finale sales event, and it's one you don't want to miss.
At Mercedes-Benz of Jacksonville and Mercedes-Benz of Orange Park, where you can lease a new 2016 Mercedes-Benz GLA 250 for only $329 per month for 36 months.
And every one comes with a season finale price and our Field's amenities. See Field's first for our season finale sales event. We saved the best for last.
It's hard being a smoker. I've heard all the lectures.
You know, you shouldn't smoke.
I know all the signs. I've seen all the faces. I know the money it costs me. But that doesn't change the fact that it's hard to quit.
Quit your way with Tobacco-Free Florida. With free patches, text messaging, emails, phone, group, and web coaching. Call or visit tobaccofreeflorida.com.
You need to come see the Christmas store at Splash, where everything for Christmas is now 20 to 50% off. Pre-lit trees, lights and ornaments, wreaths and garland. Everything for Christmas now 20 to 50% off. Hurry in and save at the Christmas store at Splash. Treat yourself to a relaxing hydrotherapy spa at Splash. Soothing muscles, relieve tension, and improve your sleep, all now 30% off. Plus, find a large group of patio furniture now 50% off. Hurry in and save at Splash.
All new Oz. Who thinks they know what city was dirtiest of all? See where your city ranks. Plus, drugstore versus designer makeup. Can you spot the difference? All new Oz.
Monday at 4 on Channel 4. You're watching This Week in Jacksonville on Channel 4.
Covering the presidential transition, Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi may have added fuel to speculation that she's bound for the Trump administration. However, the AG says she'll stay, and Governor Rick Scott says that's the outcome he's hoping for. Attorney General Pam Bondi spent a couple hours in Trump Tower recently, and afterwards she said 3 times she is the Attorney General.
Right now I'm Attorney General of the state of Florida. I'm AG of Florida right now.
Bondi was back in the state capitol this week. She dodged the question of a job offer once again.
Frankly, I don't think anyone should come out of those meetings and talk about anything that was said in those meetings.
Speculation has Bondi becoming the next drug czar, and the Attorney General would not commit to finishing out the remaining 2 years of her term.
I knew you were going to be asking that question today, and I'm not prepared to answer anything. I'm not going to confirm or deny anything right now.
Look, I think a total of, 2,900 appointments to boards and commissions, so I focus on the things that are in front of me. I'm hoping that Attorney General Bondi stays.
Bondi was the only Republican elected statewide to miss last week's legislative swearing in. We asked if her duties on the Trump transition team were taking most of her time.
Oh, no, I hope not. I've been busy actually more with national attorneys general than anything, fighting this war on drugs. I was in D.C. with them and then in Fort Lauderdale with them as well.
Well, Governor Scott may not have a short list of potential replacements for the Attorney General. Others do, and that list includes former Scott job czar Jesse Panuccio. The state constitution allows the governor to fill unexpired terms until the next election, if there is an opening. They were decking the halls at the Florida Capitol this week with the official lighting of a Fresh from Florida Christmas tree outside the governor's office. Governor Rick Scott turned on the lights. First Lady Ann Scott put the first ornament on the tree. It was grown by Urgel Christmas Tree Farm in Pasco County.
In this season of hope and faith and redemption and celebration, this is an exciting time for all of us to come together and celebrate a Florida business that's growing fresh from Florida products that will really brighten up the homes of lots of Floridians.
And this is the 5th time the Urgel Christmas Tree Farm has provided a Christmas tree for the governor's office, something they enjoy doing, and obviously a great product. Looks great out there at the Capitol. This Week in Jacksonville airs each Sunday morning at this time. Tim Forson is going to join us as he gets ready to place Dr. Joe Joyner in St. Johns County Schools. Forson is the new superintendent there. We've also heard an announcement about what's next for Dr. Joyner, and so they will both be with us. That's coming up next week. I'm Kent Justice. Thanks for watching.
At News 4 Jax, we're always covering the news, even when we're not on TV. Stay informed, on the go, and online at news4jax.com.